Day two. First one is day one video, and this is where we explain that we do a 1 hour trade, and that's the trade that we do. So now we want to go over how to execute a 1 hour trade and to understand the basis of our entry. So in the last video, you noticed that we always have entries on what we call 1 hour moons here, and then a second entry, which is the trend, which is the full entry. So let's cover right here the basis of setting an alert on a 1 hour moon, which is simply going to your 1 hour time frame, sliding down to the 1 hour moon, clicking right click, add alert to the VC Crypto Nation, and we're going to go where the moon crosses up, and we're going to go once per minute, and then all we're going to do here is slide down. And if you don't know how to do the cross up, you just do the 3 minute cross up, and once per minute, and it says alert fired. Well, I want to know what alert that is, so I'm going to put a 1 hour, right? And normally what I do is I put the coin in. So XRP 1 hour moon, right? And now when this alert pops up, I know that at this point, this is a trade trigger, right? And what it's telling me is that there is a trade that has triggered a entry point. There will be a consolidation or a pullback at some point until it gets to a trend, and then the trend is a full entry into the trade. Now, I'm going to set an alert also on the trend because that's the trend I'm entering. So on the 1 hour, I'm going to set up the alert on the moon, and then I'm going to set it up on the 1 hour. So all you do for the trend is you go down and you find the little line, and when you right click the line, let the little finger go on it, it says add alert on the trend. Now I'm going to go long. I want it once per minute, and now all I'm going to do here is simply in front of this is type in 1 hour, or I'm sorry, XRP 1 hour, right? And I don't need to put anything else because it tells me that it says trend in there. It's pretty simple. I normally take that out just so I can see the trend long, and I hit create, and that's pretty much it. Now you can go long, you can go short, whatever you want to do. I'm going long, and I'm going to create this 1 minute. So now I have both my alerts set for my 1 hour moon and my 1 hour trend. So now when the trade comes around, that is the trade I'm going to execute. Now, in this lesson here, we're going to cover the basis of understanding what we're looking for, right? And like any other trading system, as you listen to YouTube or anywhere that you go and learn, 80% of people trade off of, well, probably about 90% of people trade off what we call support and resistance. And it's a common theme of support and resistance. Well, we operate with our moon indicators. We operate on a thing that's called volume and price action. And what we look for during the 1 hour trades and the 4 hour position trades is very simple, is we need the current support line, the current support line where a trade is finding current support. And how we find current support is simply based off our volume indicators and our price action lines here to find the support zones that we need to make trades. So this is, as we move forward, that's what we're going to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're set our alarms on our 1 hour moon and our 1 hour trend, which allows us to get into these trades that we showed you earlier, the push, the bounce, and the next push, and then a moon and a trend and then a run. And as you can see, these trades literally happen all the time. And once you get a red moon here, there's a pullback, and that allows you to have what? Another opportunity at a green moon into another entry. Now, the thing about this is called a moon reset. And all that is sometimes you have a trend that happens, and there's always a pullback on the moon, which happens here. And you'll see a big pullback that comes down, and then the green moon comes back in, which gives you another entry trade on the green moon entry, except this time when this moon hits, when you enter here, you're not waiting for the trend to hit because you already have the trend. So just like over here, when you enter this trade here on a green moon, and then there's a pullback to the trend, and then you enter again, just like here, there's a green moon entry, there's a push and a pullback, and then you enter on the trend. There's times that there's going to be a trade that's currently happening, and there'll be a pullback on a red moon, and then when the green moon comes back, since you already have a trend, you would enter on the green moon, target the entry, and then your push would just simply be that push. There's not going to be a trend that gives you a second push there. It would simply be the moon that gives that push. So that is what we currently call a moon reset. And what that means is there was a moon that went green, there was a trend that went green. So trade 1, there's a moon. Trade 2, a trend. And as that trend went, the 1 hour moon came in, which basically is normally a sell for us. And that comes down. And then when the moon came back, the trend had never changed back red. So there was no trend change. But the moon came back, and that triggered another trade, which basically allowed us to get another entry over here on a green moon entry, which gave us another, 4 or 5%. So that's called a moon reset, where the moon changes color, but the trend does not, and the moon goes back into a buy, and we jump on it, and we make that move again. Now, the thing here is that we have one buy, and we wouldn't have a trend buy in because the trend is already in our favor. So we would simply just have the one purchase of the moon, right? And we'll cover this in the further videos, but just so you understand, we make trades based on moons. We make our next entries based on trends, and then we ride that double move. So first trade is the moon. Second entry is the trend, and we ride the move. First entry is the moon. The second entry is the trend, and we ride that move. Here we have a moon, and we have our first entry, and because we don't have a trend, there is no second entry, and we just ride that move. And that's pretty much how it works. So now over here, you can see that in the current state that XRP is in, we have a 1 hour moon, which would have been an entry point here, right, which basically happened. Now the trend is actually not here yet. So our second entry is when this trend turns green, wherever that is, and then we're going to get into the next move here. So those are the trades that we have. We didn't get into the moon entry, right? And now we're waiting for the trend entry, which should give us another entry, and then we'll ride this move. So it's always the 1 hour trade on a moon entry and then a trend entry, right? You see here, look, we have an XRP 1 hour moon alert, right? Which means this trade right here is starting to, show that it wants to build momentum and head towards a green moon. So alerts normally pop up and they're not, not happening at that moment, but they give you plenty of time to get an email alert because you can send the alerts to your email. Plenty of time to get your computer and figure out there's a possible trade here. And the trade we're actually waiting for here is we're waiting, and you can see here there's a red moon here on the 1 hour. So we need a 1 hour green moon to come into play, and then we need a trend to come into play. So this one right here, because it hit a green moon and went back to a red moon, now we're waiting for the green moon to come again. If this red moon doesn't exist, then we would just wait for a pullback. We'd catch a green trend, which would have been probably somewhere in here because the moon, it would have kept its volume, and we probably would have had a bounce to here and then a run. But because we didn't get the green trend, it continued to fall down. And now we're at the beginning again where our next trade is actually on a green moon. And then we would look for a pump. And then after the green moon, we would expect some type of small pullback or a bigger pullback, depending on volume. I mean, that's what you'll learn in volume section. But there'll be another pullback. And then from that pullback, we should get a trend, and then we should see that upward move. So this is how we analyze that move here. And what we're focusing on is understanding that there's always going to be a move, a pullback, and then that next big move. Here, we're in a situation where we're waiting for this to actually re-manifest, which is a green moon, and then we'll see a jump, and then we'll see a green trend, and we'll see the next jump. So that's the most focused here, is understanding that the trade that you're doing is a 1 hour moon, a 1 hour trend, and just waiting for your alerts to come around and then move into that. And that will be the key to understanding there's always a pump, there's always a dump, and there's a next move. So the lesson number 3 that we're about to get into is going to be breaking this same move down, but doing it to where we use the lower time frames to, get an understanding of where we're at with volume and the ability of the trade that's coming up, guys. So I appreciate you. The next video is going to be on how to get into these trades a little bit earlier to understand when the moon is coming, and it's going to be the same things that we use on the 1 hour, just on a lower time frame, guys. So look forward to you on video 3 here, breaking down lower time frames to see the next moves of the 1 hour trade. Appreciate you guys.